Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final episode of the Penguin Review series, the series finale. I am the number one Kylo Ren fanboy, Travis. I forgot I was on vodka. I forgot to change it, but he's back there. But I'll just say I'm the Clown Prince of Podcast. We're back in Gotham, so I'll go with that. And I'm joined by.
I am the Matrix. Clint Bassett.
we're all over the place. Yeah.
I am Maz boy, Taylor Field.
Maz boy. So yes, as not by our nicknames, you get that. But we are here. It's been 7 weeks leading up, but we're here to finally talk about the final episode of the Penguin series. As of right now, it looks like it's that way. I've read a couple interviews where Colin Farrell's been like, yeah, like if there's something great for season 2, but he's also, I read an interview where he's like, I'm completely fine if I just do the movies and nothing else. Because he did say after this, he was like over the makeup, and he said stuff like in the Batman 2, he's confirmed he has like 5 or 6 scenes. He's signed on for Batman 2 and 3. So as of right now, we're treating this as the series finale for this show. And to end on a good note, who knows, Taylor Field, to end on a good note for you?
Oh man, I am just shocked at how things went. There was probably only one thing that was unfolding in this episode. I thought, okay, this is gonna go this way. But as for the rest of it, no, I was caught off guard. There were some hopes and dreams I had that were good, and some hopes and dreams that were crushed. But all in all, it seems like a pretty satisfied, fitting end for this character. And as much as you love him as a villain, you hate him at the same time. And they really do a good job in this episode by having both of that just in back-to-back scenes too, of just where you're rooting for him and then you're hating him. And it's just absolutely crazy how they just go so hard on this. And it was just such a silent episode, mostly just no background music really. I mean, there was some, but obviously you're just hearing a lot of just the acting coming from the actors.
Hour and 8 silent episode. The episodes don't,
complete silence.
Characters don't speak. It was wicked. You couldn't believe it.
But the way it ended, I'm very, very happy with the ending. I'm really, really happy. And the ending just gave me a big chuckle, a big smile, and a grin on my face. Like, oh, fuck, this is wonderful.
Addison's worried.
I'm pretty sure she was tearing up. I can't confirm. I'll have to ask her. But yeah, but I'm pretty sure she was actually like tearing up at a certain part. So
She's hiding around the corner. She's hiding it.
Oh,
locked
no.
herself in the bathroom.
He's Breaking
crying.
Bad.
Yeah.
You done?
yeah,
Okay.
take it away.
Mr. Batzer.
Yeah. I think this was a pretty solid finale to have for the show. I don't think it's perfect by any means, and I definitely think that this show could have used another episode. For my own personal opinion of just like, I think we could have spent some more time on just spreading out some things in another episode, as well as like it was just such a great show. So like I definitely would have taken more episodes if they were going to give it to me. But yeah, I don't think this was a perfect rounding out of the story. So we'll definitely go into that when we get into that. But I think the stuff that's been like just a masterpiece throughout the whole series remain that way. Like in this episode, like my issues aren't with the performance or anything like that. It's mostly just, I think, how they decided to round it out. I don't know. I just got some grievances with that, and I don't know. Maybe just talking it out with you guys, it'll smooth it over, and I won't feel that way. But we'll wait and see for that. But yeah, I agree, Taylor, with your like more of a quieter finale. Like it seemed like it wasn't as like high octane orchestral like in the sound department, but I think it fit very well of just hitting in those like in your emotions and just the gut punch moments. I think they hit more because of the lack of sound. There was some big like mic drop type moments that happened in this episode that was pretty fucking crazy, honestly, to like just to see that on screen, especially because it's just been like a big build up of like what's going to be happening here in the finale. And then for what we got, I still think the moments hit, but I just still think that it could have been a little bit better. And yeah, overall though, it was definitely good. And I like the little, Easter egg cameo, whatever the hell we're going to be calling it, that happened. That's a little spoiler something. If you haven't seen the episode, yeah, that's maybe some incentive to go in there.
Holy God, what are you showing me? Come on.
Maybe don't get too excited. It's not Henry Cavill Superman or anything, but
Could you imagine? Henry to show up. Penguin, I need your help. And just like, what the fuck?
First thing tomorrow morning, all the news outlets just going crazy.
Man,
Henry Cavill's Superman. and
he's
Batman
back.
too.
Yeah. James Gunn, like, I couldn't use him here, but I wanted to put him. I told Matt Reeves he had to use him. I said, if you want your trilogy, you have to use Henry Cavill's Superman. And then, like, Batman kills him, like, opening scene of part 2, you know, just like, not like easily.
Yeah.
But, all right, there we go. So, yes. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. I think I had some issues last week that bled over to this one, but honestly, I think they were. I'm still thinking they're in like the nitpick category, but I think it did its job for what I wanted. Where we got a clear, concise, great kind of new origin. It is. I'll say it's origin story because we got lots of flashbacks last week and even some this week, right? So I feel like in a sense it's an origin story. It's setting us up great for part 2 where. There's some stuff I want to say, but I don't even want to spoil, like, even hint about that stuff. But I think they've put Oz on a trajectory that I really like, something that really is kind of in my wheelhouse, and I think they did a great job. I think all the characters got satisfying endings. Some got very tragic endings. I think even stuff like Julian Rush, who have been busting his balls for the past 5 episodes, they finally were like, hey, here's his purpose. I was like, oh, great, okay. Like, that, like, there's some other stuff with him, but at least there's stuff like that stuff that retroactively I go, what we doing here? And now we got some answers, right? So I think there's some stuff that's still a little easy. I think it's sometimes not because the show. I think it's probably because it's it's not the writing. It's sometimes because the show budget and there's only so much they can do. So kind of like a couple episodes ago when Sal showed up with 2 guys to take over the whole operation. I had a moment like this again where I'm like, this feels very easy, and it feels like we're kind of ending this confrontation in quite a just and then this happened to happen. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that works out. But overall, still a great show. I know we've said before, but the two I keep forgetting her fucking name. It's Christina or Christine. What the hell is her name? Because
Christine Milioti.
Christine Milioti. So her just phenomenal. Like, again, also people outfitting her. This episode, she had great stuff going. Wow.
Yeah.
Taylor, what was that moan on air? Taylor's just like,
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
I'm editing
I'm
this
sick.
episode, so I got the. You are sick, you bastard! You objectifying
Madison's
women.
crying in the other room.
She's like, oh, look at Christina in that dress. Isn't she amazing? No, Taylor, no. But no, both outfits are good. But no, whatever. I don't
Throughout
care.
the whole show, honestly, like I feel like watching this episode, I'm like, I feel like I've done a misservice of not bringing it up more of like the costume design specifically for her. She's just fantastic.
Like throughout the whole show, but yeah, what they had her in the dance club, my goodness, she's looking very, very good. And to put that to side, because that's just like a asterisk of like, oh, that's a nice thing to see. Just again, another phenomenal performance. She's been this way the whole show. All these people have, but this was a top tier episode. There's one scene in the middle of this episode that I just thought, man, she did such a great job. And then yeah, Colin Farrell again. I agree with Mike. I have to sit back and think about this, but other people have said this. Like, I agree the sentiment. Like, when I think of Joker, I think of Heath Ledger, and I think we've talked about this before. Like, when I think of Penguin, I'm going to think of Colin Farrell, and I think you could make a case that he is number 2 behind Ledger. Like, I have a soft spot in my heart for Michelle Pfeiffer, and I think she's a fantastic Catwoman, so I'd have to think about that. But like, I'd put him above even Dano. I'd put him above Hardy. I'd put him above Jack's Joker. Like, he is just. This character, he's just etched out. And of course, you got 8 hours to do it, but still, you got to bring that performance and such a layered performance. And Colin Farrell, like, I know we won't be unfortunately talking about his Penguin again for another 689 days, gentlemen. That's from the Batman.
I don't like the
too.
sound of that.
Yeah. But no, it's just. He's done such a phenomenal job, and this was another episode that I imagine they're gonna try to go for some Emmys, and I feel like this was an episode that did everything. Where you see the shitty penguin, you see a little funny penguin, but not too much this episode because the finale. You see the heartbreaking penguin, you see the friend penguin, you see the mob boss. Like, you see everything, and just the pathetic version. You see everything Colin Farrell can do. So obviously we've talked about this many times, but just like watching this, it's just so impressive what he's been able to accomplish with this, and just a kudos to them. And yeah, so like overall, when we get away from the series, I don't know what I'm rating it at the end, but as far as what we talk about, like, DC had a couple of these with Peacemaker, and MCU had one of these. Like, I think this is the best version of a show that's connecting to a movie. It's its own thing, but also doesn't feel like homework. I think they hit a home run on this show. So Matt Reeves and company is definitely 2 for 2. Very excited for the Batman 2. And whatever show gets announced, I hope we get more news on that. But I think they accomplished what they're going to do, and they created a great kind of villain show. So anything else non-spoilers before we get into this? Okay, so we're going to take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we are back. So if you didn't want to listen to that ad break, go over to Patreon right now, and you can go on there and get on a tier and subscribe for a bevy of different benefits, whether it's every episode is ad-free, whether you are getting things early, exclusive episodes like our Superman retrospectives, which we review every Superman movie, or Fantastic Four. Those will be going till July, so those are great, fun episodes. If you're a Patreon producer, you get all those early, not just every month. You get them early. You also get to pick a movie. That's why last week we reviewed The Substance. This week, kind of good mind frame to be in. We're reviewing Goodfellas, so in that mob I'm excited to get back in that kind of world of seeing that, and I'm excited to talk about that. And that's what you can do on Patreon. You can join it and pick a film for us to review, and lots of other good stuff. Sending questions, and it's the best way to support us because we're independent content creators, and we very much appreciate that, because how we go multiple shows every week, that's each and every one of you doing that. And head down links for everything you need to know. Discord, we always got spoiler chats for the shows we're reviewing. For DC next, these boys will be covering Creature Commandos. We got Skeleton Crew coming up, and then lots of big reviews coming up. Gladiator. God, what else is there? There's going to be Craven. Is there
Moana 2? Has anyone seen Moana 2? I totally forgot that's coming out this month. Solo review, maybe. Okay, we'll see.
I might be seeing that. I might be seeing it
we'll
night out.
talk.
So maybe
We'll
talk.
We'll
I think
talk,
it's the same
yeah.
night as Gladiator, isn't it?
No.
Double feature.
No, Wicked's the same night as Gladiator. That's the one that's the
Oh,
same. I think Moana's the week after. Yeah. But and then I think there'll be an Nosferatu review at some point. Not Christmas Day. It's gonna be like Wonka. maybe later on. But lots of good stuff happening on the feed newscast. So we appreciate the support. Let's start, Kirkland. What's your first? Do you have multiple issues? Do you have one big issue? I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Yeah, I think my issues, maybe a better way to phrase it, is kind of around the stuff between Oz and his mom and Sophia, like that scene. Very, very powerful scene, really, really intense.
Acting's all good there.
All acting's fantastic, 100%.
I agree.
Costume design, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Christine looked phenomenal.
At first, I thought the thing that was in like her cleavage was a mistake. I'm like, like it's a scarf, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh no, that's a choice.
It's a little boob grab.
I dig
thing.
it. I dig
know.
it.
I'm like, I haven't seen that before. That's
I'm gonna
interesting.
get one of those in the summer when I take tops. I can't wait.
Cover your boob.
Yeah.
And like the scene between him and Vic, like that moment, it's basically the biggest moments in this entire show, and they're very powerful. I was like basically tearing up with the Vic moment as well, but I still felt like it was just an easy send off for this character. I think it's because leading up to this moment, we were theorizing on like Vic's gonna fuck up. He's gonna do something that just makes the Penguin snap, and then that's gonna make him kill him. It's Vic's fault why his mom was captured, or maybe it was Vic's fault why the backup didn't get there in time. Like he fucked up some way, and then Penguin's gonna snap and then murder this fucking guy really viciously. Honestly, by the end, like up until that moment, I'm like, Vic's gonna make it out of the show. Taylor was right. He fucking predicted it. I'm 100% convinced Victor is gonna get out because Penguin is like so impressed with him, and it's the one guy that he can rely on. And you know what? I guess the counter argument is just gonna be that's just because Penguin's that fucked up. But like to me, it just doesn't feel like consistent in that way. I don't know. Let's just start with the Vic one, and then I'll talk about the other scene after. But for that one, I was just a little bit unsatisfied, even though I still was emotional. And it's mostly just because I was thinking about our whole adventure of this entire season, and now I'm like, oh my god, this character's done, and just thinking about all the moments that him and Penguin have had together. But I still just felt like it wasn't as clean as maybe I was expecting it to be. But I don't know. How do you guys feel?
Well, first of all, Had to hashtag Travis told you, Taylor. You episode 1, you're like, Victor's gonna go, you're gonna make it. 1, I just didn't think we'll talk about Sophia after. I still just always thought from a practical level they want to make it so you don't have to watch the show, right? Because if Victor, he's gonna like, if Colin Farrell says, hey, I got 5 to 6 scenes in the Batman and they're not doing Penguin season 2, it's just like, then what is Victor? He's literally just gonna be a bodyguard guy. Like, Penguin's not gonna be the main villain. So I always thought practical level that's gonna happen. And then to me, I always thought he was gonna die. But I asked you, Taylor, was it last week when they showed the flashback of his brother? I'm like, he killed his fucking brothers. Victor's not keeping it. And see, I bought into I was fine with this. There's some stuff I have with issues at the moment. I think, yeah, that scene could have been drawn out, or we could have had another episode, but still, the Victor thing, I think they did in a way so they could still kind of shock you that you think he was going to make it out, and it was just this nice little moment, and then he took advantage of it to take him out. But I kind of understood where, if you look at every single one of Penguin's issues this season, was with his mom, right? His mom getting kidnapped, Sophia having his mom. Like, if he didn't have that, the only time he did was at the beginning where they thought he killed Alberto, and he got out of that. Once that was gone, he was pretty scot-free. He was making deals, but once Sophia got his mom involved, that's where he was kind of fucked, right? So I bought it on that level where, because this back half of the season was all, I gotta get my mom, this was like, okay, my mom's like safe, but like, I don't even know if anyone's gonna kidnap her now because she's like a vegetable. So it's like, what are you gonna, like, I guess you could, right? Like, but like, still, like, it's not the same. And then Victor is the only string there, and I guess it shows how much Oz actually ended up liking Victor, because I still thought, oh well, couldn't he still just be a lackey that you kind of like, okay, he's with you now, but you kind of keep to the side and everything. But I guess it's just showing that Penguin did really take a liking to him. That was not fake, so he has to take him out because he doesn't want people to be like, oh, he's really close with that one guy, take him out. So I guess now he just wants to be he's becoming the full Penguin mob boss where he cares about no one. So I did buy the kill. And I was happy for myself, not for Victor. He great guy and all, but you know, he's still criminal.
Like Taylor, Emily's crying next to you.
Yeah, Travis, no. And the other point before Taylor goes, we'll get to the mom, but this finale to me made it like I've always said. That's why with Dexter, Breaking Bad, all the shows should end with, okay, they gotta lose in the end, they gotta die. Now with this, very different. We'll get to the end shot later, but to me, the losing is, okay, Batman 2 or 3, like, it has to happen there. We're not going to get another season, but this made me now, when we talked about, hey, we've seen his origin, and even then, I don't even think he's, like, a good guy. Like, I can't even root for him to begin with, but now, especially, it's like, okay, Batman needs to take this piece of shit down. Like, this guy's a fucking asshole. He's a criminal. He's taking out Victor. Victor's this nice kid who is still a criminal, but still a nice kid. All right, I'm all down for Batman to fucking break his jaw or break his other foot. Like, I'm rooting for Bruce now to fuck this guy up, you know, and like put him in crime.
Step on his toes.
Exactly. Just like battering to the feet, everything like that. But
his good foot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So he just, But Taylor, let's you can give your last rights to Victor. You're pulling for him the whole season, but is that when you're crying?
No, I wasn't crying there. Madison was crying. I really was surprised because I thought like the scene was going good and everything, but it hits that point where, okay, it's going on long, and it's like, shit, here it comes. The context of it really, it took me by surprise. And I mean, Madison said like, oh, it's because he said family. I'm like, that does have some foundation to it, because Victor was just fessing like, you're like family, and when he said that, that's when Oz took a deep like sigh and was like, fuck, why do you have to say that? Because that's where I don't want that, and because you said that, now I gotta eliminate that, because I can't deal with any more of this like family losing scenarios and whatnot. It hurts him. So I mean, if that conversation happened later on instead of just directly post mom becoming like post-stroke, I think that it would have gone a different route, but I think it was just the situation and the timing, and Victor definitely played his hand wrong. I thought that there was a lot of foreshadowing here, and I thought we were going to get Oz killing Victor because Oz was afraid that Victor would do what everyone else did when we got the whole sequence of all like the deputies turning on their leaders and killing them. I thought that Oz was thinking, you know what, Victor, like, you took initiative, you did all this, and I can't have that, and it was thinking you could do that to me. I thought that would be kind of the way that he would go about it, but no, it was just the family, and Oz was emotional, so there's that. But it's a shame. I was looking forward to seeing Victor pop up in Batman Part 2, and Batman just like, where's Oz? Just
beats the shit out of Victor.
Beat the shit out of him?
It's a face-to-face between Batman and Victor, but We're not getting that. So.
Can you imagine? He makes it out of the show. We're just like talking about this for like an hour plus about Victor and his inclusion in Batman 2. What's gonna happen?
Over 600 days.
First scene. Yeah, 600 days later. First scene. Where is he?
I didn't used to kill, but now seeing your bitch face, I've decided I'm gonna kill.
You're my first. Fucking just murders him.
It's over. It's over. It's over for you, Victor. I'll tell you where he is.
Like
I
Batman
swear.
Begins, drops the guy
Yeah.
from the roof.
I already told you where
because
he
he's like
is.
such a likable character. We're all like, "Oh, Vic, what's gonna happen here?" And then just opening sequence of Batman.
Are you
Batman's
gonna,
the villain now.
you gonna kill Joker? No, I need him. You? No. Just I already told you where Oz is. I'm sorry, and just lets him go. But yeah, so yeah, R.I.P. to Vic. And he is gone. So
Yeah, you guys bring up some good points, and I feel like for like, especially now that I've just I don't know hearing your thoughts, and I'm ready for my counter argument here. I feel like because I had it so like theorized that Vic was gonna fuck something up. I thought that because Penguin isn't addressing any of his fuck ups, and it's like, no, it's not on you. You know, like this is just the way the business goes. He just was really leading me in that direction. Of like, okay, forgiveness, this makes sense. And then when they're sitting down on the bench and he's like talking about his mom, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like there's no reason for him to kill him right here. Like it doesn't make any sense. So he's either gonna kill him and I'm gonna hate it. It doesn't make any sense, or he's just gonna live on. But then he killed him, and I think I just had it like predetermined in my mind, and then it switched. So then I was just upset. But definitely, I mean, it makes sense for just going forward because, like, especially where Cobb is in like the whole Penguin get up at the end. Like, this is going to be a completely different Oz going forward than where he was at the beginning of the show.
yeah.
I feel like that's just. He just seems so much more like psychotic too, like because of the mom stuff. Like we haven't really talked about her yet, but like I just feel like by the end of this, it's like, okay, no, he's like a psycho now. Like just this really deranged relationship that he's had with his mom. It didn't feel that fucked up like throughout the whole show. Maybe in the flashbacks, like you're seeing that a little bit more just because of what happens between Little Oz and his brothers and the mom and everything like that. But I just think throughout the whole show it wasn't really there, and then at the end and. Maybe that just also adds to the decision on why he has to kill. Like he's only got room in his life for one family member, right? He killed his brothers, and now it's just his mom, even though she's a vegetable. In his mind, he's still got her. He dances with her. It's fucking crazy.
I want to see Bruce finally there. What the fuck you doing, Oz? But like, yeah. So that we'll come back.
Like, imagine
to her.
if Victor lived on and he's like seeing Oz like this. He'd be like, "Dude, you gotta like, this is not okay."
That's maybe
and
why
then,
though.
And then Vic would kill her. Or
'Cause
sorry, he would kill her.
This is where I knew, like, I always knew he was a goner, but when Oz, because I guess we'll get back to the mom, but they established to get her out of there, and they say, oh, she had a stroke, so she's semi-cognitive, but she can't move. She's a vegetable that is not in a comatose state, but can still see things, clearly experience emotions, because later on she's crying. I don't think for the reason Oz thinks, but yeah, she's in the penthouse that she always wanted, looking over Gotham. Penguin, yeah, like Kirkin says, all in his full get up there. And so that's everything you ever wanted. And she cries. Again, I don't think it's because she's happy that she got everything. I think it's just that, a couple days she just said, like, this, you're the worst thing that ever happened to me. And now she's literally just stuck with Oz. But then Oz transitions into the other room. We get Eve back because I theorized, I was wondering if Eve, and I even thought Eve might bite it because she gave him Sophia the information. Now maybe Oz didn't think about that, and obviously Sophia never revealed that, but I was like, oh, is he gonna put two together and he's really closing loose ends? But no, it's something much worse, because he goes full Norman Bates, where, and I guess because we talked about this, right, where this is what she does, even Sophia does, where Eve, she's a prostitute, but she's a prostitute as like an actress, so she takes on, that always happens sometimes in sex work, but this is more specifically tons of wigs, outfits. So has it been, because when Sophia asks, like, oh, do you know Oz? Like, oh yeah, I know what we are. Yet to, like, he knows what I am. I know what he is. am I to infer that the entire time they've been hooking up, she has always been pretending to be his mom, or is this a new thing?
I think that
it's always been the case.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah, me too.
she looks like his mom.
totally
too,
looks
right?
like
I
his
never
mom,
thought about it
yeah.
till this episode. It was fucking
Yeah.
crazy. It's like, how did I not put two and two together? And that was when she's rubbing his shoulder, like, "Oh, I'm proud of you, my boy," and like, "Oh," and she's like, say you're proud of me," and like, it was like, oh boy. So now he's having this woman. If people are just listening, didn't see the show, he's having. I guess we all agree it's been the whole time. A prostitute pretends to be his mom, and I don't even know if they're fucking. They've kissed a
yeah.
couple times, so they're
they're
fucking.
fucking.
So it's a whole many levels of messed up. And that's what I was gonna say before we go. That's why I thought Victor was dead, because when they tell Oz about his mom's state and the way he was crying, and Victor's like patting his back, I'm like, Penguin wouldn't let anybody see this. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, he's breaking down. And great scene by Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell's knocking it out of the park, just saying, like, say you're proud of me before you go. Just say, like, I've done this all for you and everything. But, like, when he was patting him on the back, like, no, there's no way. He just saw Penguin. He was looking like Madison over there crying. There's no way. There's no way Victor's being kept there. But, yeah, Eve is... she's doing quite a bit of stuff for money, you know?
I found it interesting that she was there as well, because it seemed like she was completely done with Penguin. With Cobb. Like, after Sophia kind of gives her the revelation that, like, Penguin knew this whole time that Falcone was just, like, murdering these women, and, like, obviously there was her friends and people that were really close to her, and in that moment, like, she sells them out, right? Like, go check out Crown Point, and that's where Sophia ends up finding her mom. Like, that's like a big betrayal there, and I thought that the next time that we saw Eve, it would be like addressing that, but it's just this, right? Like, this is the next time that we see her. So I am gonna wait until Penguin 2. I think that will come up at some point, of like, maybe that's the downfall of the Penguin. Like, she is like a big something that
You think we're going to get a season 2?
What did I say? Penguin 2. I meant
You mean
Batman 2.
Batman,
It's gonna be his movie now. Yeah,
It's like you said
changing
that
the
so
name.
confidently. I was like, wow, okay. You know, I could see it, but Penguin too. But yeah, Batman fucks her up too. He's just like, he's just
Victor.
no. He's like, could you be my mom, like, and my dad? Could you be them both?
He brings Oz's mom home too. Keeps her a vegetable. She just
Yeah.
can't die. This poor lady.
Look after Alfred, please. Alfred's just like, I fucking hate my bloody life. It's just, I should have left.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like, maybe she's just not addressed again in Batman 2, and to me, I'm gonna think that's kind of a negative, honestly, on just that character in this show. Like, if we just have those moments of her being close to Cobb, she breaks up with him, and like, early on the show, it doesn't seem like it's like he owns her or anything. Like, it seems like it's a mutual, respectful type relationship. Maybe I'm kind of naive in thinking that, but at the end here, I think that she's there because Penguin is the guy that's kind of running the show now. Like, she's probably there as, well, yeah, she's like a sex worker, but it's like she doesn't really have a choice now. She's kind of she's Cobb's mom now till the end. So
To that's the worst thing.
Yeah,
Till the
so-
end, you know.
I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about Eve? And like, am I alone in just thinking that there's some inconsistencies there of just, I don't know, like what her character ended up being?
You take it, Taylor.
Eve. Sorry, was that the name of the stripper?
Wow, she's just a prostitute to you.
Prostitute?
Fucking,
Okay. I couldn't remember her name.
Eve
No.
Carlo.
you white sawgin.
Clayface's daughter, sister, mother, daughter.
Can you be my
I
daughter?
honestly thought she was done out of the season when Sophia had that conversation with her. I didn't think she was
Yeah.
going to come back, because, like, not gonna lie, I totally forgot that she was in there, because I thought that there would be a little bit more of a, having her back, a little bit more of a scene with Oz kind of being pissed off at her because they did not leave on good terms, and she just abandoned him, and he was very pissed off about it. So yeah, I would have thought it would have been a little bit different, but I mean, it fits with how fucked up he is, and so I can definitely take that and just add it into being a very solid, good ending. So
Yeah, I'm torn on her because she gave It's tough because I maybe need a bit more because she gave Oz up, but at the same time, if he's now running Gotham and he shows back up on our doorstep, because at the end I can buy that he would go back. Because to me, that's not like the thing like Victor. Like, of course, she pretends to be his mom, and I think he likes that fetish, and she will do that for him. But I also think if he has to sacrifice her, that's no problem at all for Cobb, right? Like, I think he'll do it. But I still think that he, after all of it, would show up on her doorstep, and if that happens. I don't think she's in any position to say no. Now there could be a scene, but I think they wanted to have that surprise, not only that she's back, that she's playing his mom, because I think it would be, you might kill some of that momentum if he shows back and there's a scene. So I kind of understand why in the finale they wanted to wrap it up a bit more. So I guess I can kind of headcanon that, you know, what else she gonna say no to now the kingpin of Gotham? You know, like that's not gonna go well for her and stuff. Like all this, and I imagine she's gonna put two and two together. That I'm sure he's just gonna say Sophia killed Victor or something like that. But if Sophia gave all that stuff about Cobb before, knowing okay, yeah, he knew about the Hangman stuff. I think it's just a position. So maybe they could have showed her being a bit more scared. And she did have that moment with Sophia where she wanted to go for, you know, like I'm supporting you in this a little bit. But yeah, so I'm not sure. I don't know where I am on it per se. I don't think it's the cleanest, but it's also something that doesn't bug me too much. I can buy her being back in that scenario.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. So
I think I would have liked it a little bit more too if it like showed like her hugging him at the end, and then just like a camera shot of her like with a tear or something. Like this is just her, like she's like in a prison now, like right, like she's
like
just
the mom.
yeah, exactly, like more or less. It would match, you know. The mom's crying, she's dressed up like the mom, she's crying like the mom, just to really, I don't know, add some like this character's fucked up. This guy's evil, but yeah,
ask her to, once his mom's passed, ask her to stay in the bed the whole time. Like that's her. You can't leave this bed. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see. But I guess we should just talk about it now. But we did get something because I guess because they could have done the tier thing, but that's not what they want us to focus on right in this last shot. Because I did think they did a fun way to set up, you know, talking about Gotham for a little bit there, and then she said, "Oh well, there's nothing to stop you now," and they pan out of his place. They pan. And I love when it's like, okay, you see, like there's the right side of the screen is okay. It's the sky. You know, I'm like, they got to do it right, and then the bat signal hits. So again, that's like,
see Robert Pattinson scaling the building, going up to the balcony
with Victor's body. How could you? I was gonna kill him, but yeah. And then she says, "Nothing can stop you now." Boom, back signal. And I think that kind of the way we kind of got that cold open in the Batman 2 where he took on those guys in the subway and everything like that. Maybe that won't be Penguin, but I feel like that might be the thing where, because I kind of need Batman to go after Penguin first. I can buy that.
Agree,
we even talked about this last week where there's some stuff where I'm like, hey, where is Batman out? It happened during the day. This all did happen kind of underground very quickly. I think Matt Reeves did give us a time that he says it's 3 to 4 weeks. So a couple weeks ago when we were talking about like the time difference, so it's been like a month in total. Don't know when it jumped, but even this stuff, right? Like with the explosion that happened during the day, and then that same night, Sophia's back in jail and Penguin's the kingpin, right? So that's where it's like, okay, I can kind of. My hope would be all the shit goes down, and now it's this time that Pattinson has to suit up. So yeah, my first thought to me would be that he's there, but at the same time, what they're setting up for Penguin with him being more dressed nicely, and he's going to go try and get in good with the mayor and everything like that, which I feel like, I don't know how that's going to go. Like, I feel like they made, I can't remember her name, Belle something, but the new mayor, like a smarter woman. So I'm going to hope that she doesn't just buy into Oz's shit here. Or maybe I thought we were going to get a Departed situation. I thought he was going to agree to be an informant, but like not be touched when he was talking to that other guy, and that's what I thought was going to happen. They alluded to it. They didn't really say that though, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But yeah, we got the bat signal. So yeah, like I said, that was exciting. But Kirkland, you agree? You think that has to be this first stop in the Batman 2 is him at least taking out an operation or something? Because Oz has moved up now, you know.
No, absolutely. I think it would be a good like add on to this show to like add some significance to it as well. Like it feels like a natural like 0.5 in between, you know, Batman and Batman 2. Because yeah, definitely not going to be the main threat. But I also hope it's not just like the opening, like the cold opening is him just beating the shit out of Cobb, and that's just the end of it. You know, like I'm expecting like the first act to kind of be like that.
Where's Victor?
Where is he? It's like the same fucking scene from The Dark Knight. Beat the shit out of him in the interrogation chamber. But yeah, no, I think that would be really nice too, to just kind of feel like there's, I don't know, maybe Batman wasn't just asleep the whole time of these events, right? Because there has been a lot of crime and stuff been going on. We've talked about it on these reviews, especially with like Sophia blowing up that whole block. Like it seems like, okay, Batman has to address some things here, and I just want it to feel like it is like a natural progression. Like I like going into Batman 2, I want to be watching Batman and then Penguin and then like jump into it and be like, okay, nice. Like I feel like it just added on to kind of everything I just watched. So yeah.
Taylor, were you happy? Were you surprised to see the bat signal?
I was thinking, okay, like they're gonna do something here, and the bat signal was perfect. It was a perfect send off, and I thought, yeah, when we're panning out, and he said, yeah, she said, Eve said, there's no one left to stop you. Or did he say that? I can't even remember.
She said that. There's nothing in your way now.
There's nothing in your way now. He says that to her.
Make love to me on top of mom.
The Victor's not here to stop us.
She's like, fuck, I hate this. What did Oz make you
That's
do?
where you get the tear. That's where you get the tear.
I had to pretend to be his mom, and then we had sex on top of his mom. It was just the worst night of my fucking life. I
Massage
hate...
my toes. Get my toe fungus.
Yeah. When's Batman back?
Christ.
Fuck.
She's the one that fucking lit the signal.
She's out there cranking the machine. Fuck.
Yeah, I just think that his timing now is definitely late and delayed. I mean, there's a lot of shit that happened that he could have been there a bit sooner.
But we
I
didn't
just
lose
take
too
it.
many innocent people, though, at least, right? So that could have been another reason. He's like, these are all shit people fucking each other over now.
True,
right?
but the Crown Point blew up and a lot of
Yes.
people died. So that's the
That's when he
trigger
steps
factor
in.
for me. That's when he steps in. So when it's a major event, then it's a big deal.
He's gonna be investigating fucking what's Buddy's name that Vic killed? That's gonna be the opening of Batman.
Oh, what is not needles? Squid.
Squid, yeah.
Needles. Who the fuck's Needles? I want to see
First
Needles.
Now.
Now.
Squid is dead. I gotta look into it.
What's up? Maybe it's Beyonce.
Yeah, I think I think him being in action now, though, probably just healing up from taking that shotgun blast to the chest after his adrenaline kick and the Batman.
And he was partially electrocuted because I just watched it again last night. Don't forget
yeah.
that. Remember, he cuts that wire, so he's part of. So.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shit that he's recuperating from. But I'm just happy that we got the signal. It was great. It was a good follow up, and now just to know that his character needs to play Cobb differently because Cobb is now councilman. I'm assuming he's a politician. He's got a seat up there.
I'm not gonna say why would you assume that? That's a huge jump.
because
King of
he made that point with the other, I can't remember his name, but the other councilman, that he wanted to be a part of this and in this. And so the councilman's like, if you want to be in here, they're going to screen you, subpoena you. Like, you need to really play your cards right and get clean. He's like, I can get clean. And so to me, that's him playing both sides of the law now.
It is, but that's what I didn't understand when he's like, well, they're going to subpoena you. It's like, well, usually people that get subpoena, well, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to say anything because look at what just fucking happened last week. I take it back. Convicted felons convicted felons can become mayors and senators and presidents all the time. So, fuck it. Penguin could just be on the fucking board now. So I think that's what they're going for. I would imagine, I hope that he's not just like Bruce shows up to an event and Penguin's there, but that would be a way to get Penguin in the movie for extra scenes as well too, right? Because I think that's what everyone's it's so funny, the juxtaposition we go, because sometimes we go, oh, there's not enough Batman in the movie, and then people go, well, the Batman, he wasn't Bruce Wayne enough, so we need that. Like, you got to find that perfect middle ground, and that would be a good place to have Bruce Wayne pop up at some gala or some sort of fundraising event, and you see Penguin there in his fucking top hat, and he's like, squeezing baby's cheeks, and he's doing all that stuff and everything, which that's happened. Batman Returns happened in Gotham. I'm sure it's happened in comic books. Like, they always love to do the whole Penguin like gets close to being a mayor, or she's not the mayor, Belle Real. I think that's her name, Belle Real. I think just like one. So I don't think it's that. I think, and that would be my hope, because I think it would be very dumb if that mayor just trusts him, because I thought they were trying to make that mayor like the change, like a part of the change for Gotham. But again, we might have Big Bad Harvin there, and maybe you never know how they play Harvey Dent, right? And he could be like a more kind of like what we got Batman Cape Crusader, a bit more on the, what I'd say, shady side. So maybe he'd be
Joker
some.
too.
Yeah. he was an upstanding citizen, Kirkland. How dare you say that? Just to point this out before we move on, Superman might said, cruelest thing Oz could have done to his mom is keep her alive that state after promising to kill her 2 episodes ago if she end up like that. Yeah, and we can transition there because, yeah, the mom, she's seen that bat signal. She's like, help me, please, Batman. But I think it's two things. I think it's exactly that, Mike, because, yeah, I forgot about that, actually. So good point where she brought that up. I remember the beginning of the episode, and I forgot about it in the review, where she said, hey, if I ever get that state, kill me. That's the worst type of state. Right, because we talked about that. We're all the same, like, yeah, I don't want to live like that. But then I think it's like a double because she was living in somewhat not denial. She knew what was happening, but she put herself in a different state of mind to at least forgive her son for what happened, which we'll talk about. But it ended with, like, the last words that she said to her son were all nothing but terrible stuff. I'm not saying it wasn't deserved, but just saying you were a mistake. Every time I wake up in the morning, I feel sick because I'm your mother. Like, all the worst shit you could say to your child. But that's another thing. The beginning of this episode, I was like, man, this woman's a piece of shit too, because Mike and other people have that theory that she knew that he did it. I did not think so at all. I thought, man, and that's where I'll agree with Kirkland, where I feel like that dynamic maybe needed one more episode, because I feel this whole brother thing is a good thing for Oz. I like it for Oz because it adds another, especially with the whole Norman Bates thing, like it adds a different layer to him, makes him even more shitty. They want to see him taken down, but did feel a tad rushed, but it still was good stuff. So that's where I'm like a little torn. But yeah, they revealed that she knew the whole time that he had killed, didn't know 100%, but she knew it in her guts. At one point she was going to have Rex the mobster take him out and have her son killed. I thought it was odd that we had the flashback last week with a different actress, and then this week it was her. So I just kind of feel like
that was because she was experiencing it in that moment through her.
Right. Okay. That's fair. I'll accept that. Thing. Yeah. Which that's where we finally get the answer. Julian Rush was finally useful. He got those answers out of her. So for me, that actually
he's still useful.
He is still, yeah, we'll get to him. He's very useful now. But other than the sex stuff, I was like, something needs to happen with this character. At least that was like, okay, cool. Sophia got some secrets out of her because of Julian Rush. That made it better. If I watch a Shogun, I'm never gonna be like, well, what the fuck is Rush sitting around here for, other than like having a jolly good time? But yeah, she knew. He gave some big speech. She said, okay, I'm gonna, I'll raise him to be this little mobster. But yeah, she's a piece of shit person too. At the end, she tries to be like, oh, I should have never let you do this, and oh, my sons are here. But I was like, yeah, she can die too. The whole Cobb family is terrible people, except for those 2 boys that drowned in the lake or whatever.
Innocent children, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is what I was saying earlier, where I feel like this scene, it was a wonderful scene, like beautifully acted and everything. It looked really good, but I just felt like unsatisfied. Like I'm so torn because I don't want to say I'm unsatisfied. Like when his mom is like going right up his face and like basically saying that he's the devil. I didn't want you. Like this is really intense, like just drama because of everything that we've led up to, and we've been shown to believe that like Penguin has done basically all of this for his mom, and like he's just loved her so much, and it just seems like the one thing in his life that he cares about is this lady, is this individual. Like it was really intense, but I still just felt like some inconsistencies maybe of like the mom's opinion of him. Like we don't really get any of this resentment or hate for Cobb, right? This entire show until last week. And like I think because of Julian Rush's whatever the hell he's doing, he's recalling memories of her. Mm-hmm. You can make the argument that like that's just really provoking it and bringing it back up into her, like in the front of her mind, like, hey, this is a real thing that you've been putting back in the back of your mind, like your whole life essentially. But like I don't know, I just felt like it was a big jump of, okay, now she just hates Cobb, and she's saying that she's always hated him, she's always felt this way, but I don't think we've been shown that at all, especially early portions of the season.
I think it's been things that have been helping trigger factors, because you have Vic, who was dancing with her, talking about her boys again, and kind of reinstigating that. And Oz comes in and is like, oh, don't talk to her about that. So, I mean, as this show progresses, you get a lot more of that reinforcement to her. And, of course, she's ill, but she's being reminded again about her boys. And then you have this psychiatric trip that just totally makes her deep dive back into that situation and breaks her. So,
yeah, that's fair. I'm glad you reminded me of, like, every time that the boy's been brought up, Penguin has shot it down like instantly. So I definitely kind of forgot about that. and again, like this is where I was saying I would have wanted another episode because I felt like I just would have wanted one more in between episode of her actually knowing this and like stewing with it to where we are here to when she stabs him. It's like, okay, I'm satisfied now. I got more time to really sit with the mom and like go through this like realization and trauma, because I think her performance was fantastic. I was like you, Travis, earlier. I'm like, why is this like a younger lady? This a younger lady last week, and then now it's the like maybe they just liked her performance of the scene more, but it made sense because it was like the hypnotism, whatever it was, moment. But yeah, just her acting of it was phenomenal. But yeah, okay. And again, this is something that I feel like on another viewing, maybe I'm gonna feel completely different about it. But just my initial feeling, it's just such a big moment that I wanted to feel like, man, that was perfect. I couldn't have changed anything about that, but didn't quite feel that way on out the gate. But definitely, yeah, I definitely forgot about a couple of those moments of just her being reminded maybe of the boys and things like that. Not the TV show.
Mike says there are moments where she get mad at him, and the illness kind of made that murky, though, which I think is that's a tough thing. And there were times where she was hard on him because she was. I feel like at the beginning it was episode 1 or 2 where she was kind of not shit talking him, but tell him like he has to, like you promised me this, promised me that. But I'm sim with you, Kirkham, where I didn't think that it was like a pure hatred. But at the same time, I guess it's kind of like sometimes in life, right, where it's like a white lie thing, where it's something like, okay, you might feel this way, but you're kind of, you don't want to go full Monty on somebody, right? So you kind of give it to them. So I think maybe it's just the idea too of just reliving it. Maybe she realizes, looking back at all, she was wrong. Because at the end of the day, they're all still like, what was her to make him proud? Like him just to become a big criminal? Like it wasn't a great result. He became
not
like
exactly what you want your mom to be rooting for you.
Yeah, right. Like he became a terrible person. Maybe that was just a realization. I thought it was a good touch to see the boys and they're all like dripping wet and everything. I thought that was a nice touch there, and I thought she was obviously great in that scene. And then the other thing, again, another point I said in the non-spoilers, just multiple facets of why to hate Cobb is like, fuck, like Sophia was right where they're like, okay, she tells us, which for me is like, it's very on the nose of, she finds these birds and the bird, there's a big one, little one, and she's just telling the whole story like what Oz did to his brothers. Okay, that's fine. And then, but again, looking great in the dress, and she goes, okay, I want there to be some truth here. Very classic comic booky, but that's fine. And she's threatening to cut off Oz's mom's finger unless he says the truth, says what he did to his brothers, and he still won't do it. Even after his mom's like, I fucking know what you did. I already know. I've accepted. Just tell me. And then he's like, oh, Ma, you're sick. Like, that's where, again, that did points for me, because, like, oh, man, yeah, Penguin is, like, he's just a piece of shit. And I also forgot to mention, too, when he killed Victor, he took Victor's money. Again, another piece of
there
shit.
Was like $3 there, too. Those were ones.
Yeah, there was ones. And he still took it. So, again, there's so many things in this episode. It's like, I cannot wait for Batman to fucking curb stomp his teeth on the cement. But, yeah, the fact that he would have let his bum's finger get chopped off because he was too pathetic to admit that he did it,
My devil's advocate defense of Penguin in that moment.
Oh, wow.
Is I feel like he took the money to make it seem like a mugging or something. Like he was killed for the money in his wallet.
I thought you were trying to defend the mother finger thing.
No, yeah. It's like, let's be honest, none of our moms need their pinkies.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can buy that, yeah. But I can also still buy that he would want the $3 extra.
I like how they emphasize, like, it could have been hundreds, it could have been tens, but no, it's like specifically like $3 $1 bills. You reminded me of another thing that maybe why I didn't love that scene as much as I could have is this is the finale. This is like the big showdown. Sophia finally has Cobb, and she's spending this whole time to just like tell this bird story, and like really she just wants to be like incepting his mom and like finding out this trauma to like bring it to the surface. I guess it's a good way to hurt Cobb to have his mom be the one that stab it, but it just seemed like way too of an elaborate plan. Like she had Julian Rush here because she knew that one day she's going to be able to get his mom and find out all this trauma. And it's not even like Sophia would have known about this at all, right? Like she would have found out through
it just happened
through the hypnotism stuff.
Happened.
So it's like, why is she doing this in the first place if she doesn't even know what she's looking for? It just seemed weird. And again, that's where maybe like my one extra episode would have helped, because I would have had time between Sophia the mom and Penguin, cover that in the penultimate or whatever you want to do, and then the ultimate, the finale be just kind of more personal between Sophia and Cobb, because it just seems I don't know, just some of the focus was taken away from her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that she's alive because I did really was fearful thinking that she was going to die here. And that was just going to be the end of that character. But I am really happy that she's sticking around because she's been phenomenal the whole series. And just to know that that character is still alive, that we can pull her back. And more than that, it's not like she's just in Arkham. Like they're setting breadcrumbs for something, you know, with her and Selena. So I'm really, really happy that she lived on. But yeah, I don't know. You just reminded me about that last thing.
Well,
I wanted
yeah,
to
and
add
that went into my stuff last week. Remember at the whole like the truck with the bomb and like hopefully you can get out because again, what were they gonna do? They're just gonna be sitting there waiting. And she had this whole elaborate plan. Like I still thought I thought her killing the mom in front of Oz and maybe torturing was like enough. So for her to like do this whole like confession, it still worked enough for me. But it is like it feels like a. I don't want to say spinning wheels because spinning wheels sounds too bad because luckily the scene's acted well and it's still written well, but it just also feels like, is this what she was doing here? But I feel like I had a couple moments with that with Sophia even last week. Remember when she's like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's like, oh, I thought you knew what you were doing now, you know? So I think there's a couple things. Same thing. I felt he got out of that situation very easy. She stabs him. He's bleeding. He falls down, breaks a chair, shoots one guy, shoots another guy, picks up his mom. He's bleeding. I was like, and again, she had 4 guys with her, and Julian Rush. I'm not going to count Julian Rush because he's not wielding the gun. So I just
thought
felt
he shot Julian Rush at first, like when he shoots that Enzo guy or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, man, that's it. That's why we had Julian here.
Well, he got us there. He got us the confession, I guess. But yeah, that would have been funny if he just got shot. And then, yeah, Sophia in broad daylight just goes outside Monroe's just shooting. But yeah, that's another thing. I thought the same thing like that happened with Maroney last week, where it just was these guard situations are a little easy, but that's from okay, this is probably TV budget, keep it light, get 5 actors on set.
Forget about the cop who was doing eye drops outside.
Yeah,
he just ultimate eye drop.
Which I like that shot when he got shot in his brain matter, just like went on the camera. But yeah, I thought that was a little easy. And again, and I guess we haven't even. I guess we can start talking about this now. We'll take. Unless Taylor, was there anything that you need to add on?
I just want. Yeah, I want to add in a real quick thing. When they were talking about that whole scene was great. I love the tension of it, but it was a little tricky to follow why Sophia was trying to put this on Oz and what she was going at instead of just killing him. She had a few opportunities here where she just too much dialogue and she should have just popped him and then moved on and gotten out of there. But it fucking killed me because when she does this whole dialogue about the younger, weaker bird pushing the other one out of the nest and killing it, and then she pulls the thing out of Oz's mouth, and he's like, "The fucking birds you talking about?" He's like,
"What the fuck these birds?" Yeah,
that's the
got
first
me
thing he
too.
says.
Fucking birds. Yeah, I love Oz there. But yeah, let's take an ad break. We'll finish off the Penguin Sophia stuff. Then yeah, we'll talk about Sophia's current state. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So yeah, so we didn't mention that Victor. So they go to the site. Gotta save Penguin, everybody. All the mobsters that they agreed with last week or the week before. They're like, oh no, this is too much. He gives this whole speech, which I did like. They emphasized whoever the triad leader is like second. I can't remember his name. Link. Okay. I like that they emphasized that he was like putting down picking up what he's putting down. But then they had him like roundhouse, like he had him like uppercut his stomach. So I was like, okay, maybe that's nothing yet. But I like that was a moment where he just kind of did that in front of everybody and even said like, stop talking, you're going to get killed. So it felt like it was like a moment to like a kind of a lifeline for Vic. And he kind of understood what he was saying. And then so Sophia says, hey, I'm Lee in Gotham. She brings everyone here. You find Oz, bring him to me. You kill, whatever. I'll kill him. My territory, everything is all yours, right? So she does this. We'll go back to what she does the house after because we'll focus on Selena. But then, so they put out this hit. Link calls Victor, says, hey, he has a hit on him. They make it look like Penguin's getting caught because they have guns to him. They bring him to Sophia. This is another little thing where I felt like there's going to be more of a formal, like she's out of there. The house is gone. Like what? She's just like, she was already, it seems like she was leaving. So what if they called her and said, hey, we didn't find him. But she was already packing. It seemed like that plane was ready to go wherever it was going to go, right? So it kind of felt that, for me, it felt a little off of, I'm leaving no matter what. And, hey, we just happen to get Oz, and they bring him there, and then they kill all the leaders, and Oz now all the seconds are in command, and they're the leaders, and it's just like, so what? All that stuff she was gonna give the mobster that brought them over, it's just Oz now. Like I felt the same way when Johnny Vitti was alive. It's like, wouldn't there be a few like money transfers and a few like that type of stuff or anything, right? Like even
The internet,
territory.
you can do anything over the internet now.
I guess, but even just the territories, it's just like they're all supposed to believe, like, oh yeah, Sophia, Sophia, our old boss. Well, the Triad showed up, they killed Oz, she got on a plane and left, but Oz, it's like it was a little messy. I don't know why they did that. So I wish there was again maybe some more time with that. It just felt like we were jumping from. We captured Oz, he escaped, and then we captured again, and he's been captured a few times. But Oz gets her. I really love that they ended on the scene of him driving her. I thought that was like a fantastic touch. Oh, here we are again, and he's driving her. It's like, okay, makes her walk, and I was like, oh man, it's over for Sophia right now. There's no way. But he tells her to close her eyes, turn around. She's preparing for death, but then a big spotlight hits her. Helicopters popping off. We get, Sophia Falcone under arrest. He's
Part
back.
of me thought it was gonna be Batman. Like I really did. Just him just swooping down
In the cop car? Oh, in the swooping down. Okay.
Swooping down. Yeah.
He's
They've arrested
Victor.
him. He's in the back seat of the cop car too.
Yeah. I was hoping at the same time when he
Thick's blood all over his hand.
yeah, he became a murderer tonight. He also helped kill your dad. You could talk to him about Arkham. But like, I thought for sure Penguin I didn't know he was when Victor dropped him off in the middle and he said something about like. He didn't say face the music, but he said something inferring cops like he was going into a big spot. I thought that's where we were going to get our Jim Gordon cameo. I thought he was walking into a police station, but it wasn't. It was like a court situation. But yeah, Sophia, she gets arrested and sent back to Arkham. So before we talk about some more of the reveal there, but what do we think about some of this triad stuff and the seconds turn on everybody, and then Sophia surviving? She made it.
Yeah, I already mentioned I'm super jacked that she lived on. I'm really happy that was the case. I kind of chuckled like during the episode when she like brings all the families to the house. And it's like, yeah, I'm leaving Gotham, and I'm like, oh, you fucking bastards. Okay, this is how we're gonna just save her. Like she's gonna just get out of town. That's it. We're gonna be addressing her at some point, which of course isn't exactly what happened. So I am glad that she stuck around in Gotham, even though it's to her dismay, it doesn't seem like she's pretty happy in the Arkham Asylum, even though I wouldn't expect she's getting the same treatment that she was getting the first time she was there, because I thought that was like set up by her dad to like do all that stuff.
I think you just get that anytime you go to Arkham.
Fuck, what a terrible place. What a terrible place.
I think that's why it's
Gotham
Arkham, right?
Arkham
You don't want to go there. You want to go to Blackgate at least. Arkham
Yeah.
is real bad.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because like Gotham alone just seems like a terrible place to live, and then
Yes.
like the Arkham and the Blackgate is just that much worse. But yeah, I completely with you, Trav. I love how it ended with them like him driving her. I love the setup too of like getting her there, and then Oz just kind of does that smirk, and then she realizes
you're
what's
like,
going
it's
on, and then
over.
the whole shootout. Like I really was satisfied with that. I thought that was badass, and even when Mr. Zhao like gets Cobb and calls Sophia, I'm like, okay, I know Link's with like the boys with the team, but like how is this exactly in a play? And I like how it was just like a big power move of all these kind of second in command type guys just taking over as like the new leaders, and these are all the leaders that are going to be running Gotham by the time Pattinson wakes up from his shock and shotgun to the blast.
that's
and
okay. He's gonna
cleaning
fuck
his
up Link.
hands. Yeah, so I for all that I thought that was just fantastic. I thought it was really really well done. I don't know. I wasn't too bothered about like the timing, I guess, of everything. It was pretty convenient, but I imagine she could have just slept in another wing of the building. Like did that burn down the whole house when she did
I
that?
think so.
Yeah. Okay.
She could have made a few $1 million off of it, maybe $1 billion.
Yeah.
Maybe.
who knows?
Sell it.
Yeah.
So,
Cool shot there. But I didn't mention that she burned down the house, had the 3 cigarettes, lit them all out, and was just lighting a blaze to everything. So the Falcone Empire mansion all gone now. So
yeah. Even the Gigante mansion.
yeah, all of it just gone. Just nowhere to
Yeah.
live.
I think that everything that her ending here, I'm glad that she lived. That's my one prediction that I'm happy came true. She's back in Arkham, and we got a cool little tie-in with that I was not really expecting, but they went for it, and I'm happy that we got the Selena Kyle thing, which we'll talk about. But yeah, just to be back in there, that sucks for her character, really, really does. But it just puts Oz on top and really just puts him on another level because she really thought that she was going to get killed there, and he's just at that top point. It's fucking crazy how he just played it so well, and yeah, did this city a favor, I guess, to just give them someone to martyr and to point the finger at. And so yeah, it's not going to be easy for her character, and I'm curious to see when she comes back how it's going to unfold, and just the dynamic too, because I get this at this point, if you want to just throw it into the movie, if you don't have to watch the show, just Selena Kyle comes back. It's like, oh, I got a sister who's just been in Arkham this whole time. So,
well, these guys giving up the lead here, but you got Sophia. She's has a meal. Doesn't look like she's eating it. Having a tough time. She's pressed up against the wall, like the whole, wrapped. Like I don't know what it has a name. Isn't it the fetal position or something like that, right?
looks like the fetal position.
Yeah, okay, so I got it right. Points for Travis. And then Julian Rush, door opens, like, oh, fucking this guy. Gotta appreciate how much of just a stan, how much of a, I'd love for him and Penguin to talk, like, who's more fucked up, like Penguin with Eve here, or this guy who... He left Arkham. Oh, they do a lot of terrible things, Sophia. Sophia goes back in. Oh, and look who's back at Arkham, Mr. Rush. Like, he will go get a job at the worst place in the world just because Sophia's there. So, again, you got to admit, this guy he's a keeper for Sophia. He's willing to do anything. But then, which is really cool, you have this moment where he's talking and it's like suspended, like muffled sound where it's like, oh, you got, some mail, the regular, people checking in, people ask to be your wife, your husband or whatever. And they're like, oh, but there's one that did stand out. And I fucking love that because I'm like, oh, fuck, what could this be? And I'm thinking like, especially because there's a black envelope. I'm like, it looked similar to like stuff Riddler would get up. I'm like, that doesn't make much sense. I thought it was going to be a Riddler. Yeah, but I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like it looked like, what would Riddler want? And they thought, okay, could it be Joker? Because he's like, rumors trying to recruit people, but like that doesn't make much sense either, other than the Hangman stuff. Maybe he could send her Hangman, like, I don't know. But then kind of what everyone's been hoping for, and we talked about, and I myself thought, okay, even if she's, and I admitted last week where I said she would die, but I said, like, if not, she's going to be locked up. Like, she'll be taken off the board is what I said, right? So I thought, okay, even if she got locked up, whatever, that's not going to happen. But the fact that, he says, like, oh, yeah, you got a letter, and it's from someone named Selena Kyle, and it's claiming to be your half-sister. My God, literally, I sat up and just...
Chills.
Like...
Just as sure as a rock is covered in chills already.
I was goosebumping all over because it's like that thing where you're like, oh, I hope they do the thing, and they did the fucking thing, and like I don't know. And Terry brought up a good point where it's just like, I don't know what you can do in the movie. Like, it might feel weird for Selena to show him, like, hey, this is my half sister, Sophia Falcone. I don't know if that can happen, but I think because obviously we talked about in the newscast where there was rumors of the Joker show. James Gunn said that's not true, so we'll see if that ends up not being true. I'll take him for his word that that's not true right now. I think we've always kind of put out there like, the one we'd want is Selena Kyle, and I feel like that would be the place to do it in the show because I feel like you would get lots of time there, unless Selena's getting tons of time in the movie. But I think Matt Reeves is making a specific case that if Selena Kyle gets a lot of time in the movie, it's Bruce centric. Like, he's always said that he wants to keep the villains not the focus. He wants Bruce to be the focus, which is great because in the villains, like in those movies, villains often take over and they're very flashy, but I like that it's from his point of view. So I think, I don't know if we could cover that ground of Selena comes back with a sister, but this makes me more convinced now than ever that they're going to do a show with Selena. I've always wanted that because I think there's lots with this character to, explain. And I do feel like, let's say we get, because we've said they're going to do more shows, right? Let's say we get Batman 2, 2 other shows, Batman 3, and it's done. Then I would go, and they do nothing with this, I would go to Matt Reeves and be like, you should have took that out. Because that's too much to me, like, baiting an audience to be like, holy shit. Like, cool, I guess you could say it's like, okay, it's a full circle, like she doesn't feel alone anymore, but it's like she'd still be locked up in Arkham. Doesn't matter. I guess she could be a pen pal with her sister, but to me, them doing that is like you are setting people up for there is something. It's like Joker at the end of the Batman. It's like you have to now follow up on this. And like I said, I don't think it could be in a movie. If it's a movie, great. I'd love her to go into the movies. Maybe they could do that. Maybe there's a situation where they are working together. But I think the Selena Kyle show with her being in there is more likely. But what do you guys think? They think nothing. And that's the end. What are your final thoughts on the Penguin series? No, go ahead, Taylor.
I mean, if the Selena Kyle show is anything like the writing that this show has had, I'm definitely all there for it, because initially I thought, I don't know if I'm going to really feel this engagement with the Penguin show. But sure enough, I thought it was phenomenal. So as long as the writing's good, then I'll be there. And I think that would be a pretty ideal place for her to just pop up as in a Selena Kyle show and just kind of see what they're up to and what's going on. But I don't know how or what that would really entail, aside from just being pen pals. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there.
Like in the show?
Yeah.
Well, like Mike brings up a good point here. Kind of where the Penguin left Rush as a loose thread. He could theoretically help get her out. So that's one thing where it's like I agree with that, but I think that's just like why he's left there, so he can help get her out, you know? But
comes into her cell at the end. Come on, Sophia, we're getting the fuck out of here. We gotta go right now. Get on your shoes. We're fucking going. He's just all intense.
I've killed everybody. We gotta go now.
He's just covered in blood. Oh my God.
Yeah, but no, I think that's why he's there. And I don't know if like Selena would get her out. Like if we're going with the theory that they're going to do some of this, Selena took the time to write to her, right? So and then Selena, I would imagine, wants some connection. So maybe Selena helps gets her out. And I don't know what that would be. I do think, even though I want to see them pal around, and it's funny that they have the same. It's tough though, right? Because I'm trying to think, like, what did Sophia do in here that was bad? Take away the crime stuff, like, right? What did she? She killed other Falcone members. They're all bad. She killed Penguin guys. Did she kill anyone in the show that we deemed like as innocent? Even his Penguin's mom, when she like motherfuckered him and everything, she like told the guards to lay off. So she never like took a big plunge to like start go out of her way to hurt really innocent people. So I was just saying, like, I wonder if she got out, would her and Sophia like clash eventually? Would they, would they have a situation where she
blew up Crown Point? All the people that were above on the drive.
Yeah,
definitely innocent people that died.
That's
in there.
true. So that's why I also wonder where Sophia could kind of like. I think they'll pal around, but I also think that Sophia and her would eventually. I think Selena would see what she could become, and she wouldn't want to become that. She could be the villain of the show in a way, or an episode or two.
I hope what like sort of interaction could come out of it is something that I didn't really think about too much throughout this whole show. Is what Penguin mentions to her when he's basically giving her the last ride, of her life. He says like the difference is like you grew up in royalty essentially. Like you didn't know what it was like to really like struggle and like be like nothing. And I liked him mentioning that because she seemed like she has been objectively through literal hell in Arkham and all that stuff, but like she still seems like a lot of the moves that she's making is kind of personal, and it's not so much looking out for the little guy. And I think Selena is more so in that avenue of being, like raised up from nothing, being just grime on the street. So I hope that would kind of be something that sticks, kind of differentiating the two of them. It's not like a make or break. I think that they still have a lot of things to like meet in the middle on, but I think that is something that's I don't know, just an important trait to keep on Sophia is kind of just that she is like she grew up in a mansion, right? Like she had a very comfortable upbringing. And where did all that money come from? Like that's all illegal money and blood money that basically give her that. And like when she has all these fancy outfits on, it's not legal money. Like none of it is legal. And although she hasn't really, directly murdered innocent people, she still just was pushing like Bliss or whatever the hell. It wasn't Bliss, I guess. It was like drops and all these things. Like she's still doing illegal activity.
Well, Bliss was going to be her job though, right? Remember she introduced that to Cobb. So
yeah, and it's not like she's leaving town because she has a coming to Jesus moment where like this isn't right. No, it's just it's better for me here. So I like how Cobb kind of, I don't know, just brought that in the spotlight of like all these decisions that you're making, like there still are for you, right? Like you never look out for the little guy, which Cobb is really fucked up, but he still did do some things. Like he got power back on Crown Point, like Vic was saying.
Yeah, which
But
I
Vic
I
was
wa-
very much the angel on his shoulder that's now dead. So
Of course, yeah. I wonder with same thing with her though. If she were to get out, like, wouldn't you feel for her like numero uno target would be Oz? Now I guess they could put it in a situation where Oz is so powerful it's hard to get to, but I'm not sure. And I guess too that also has to go to like what's Selena's goal currently right now, right? Because like Falcone's dead, she was gonna try and kill him, and then Riddler killed him. Like, does she have some score to settle with Oz or something? Because like, she did work for him at the club, but I don't know if that's like a thing where there's some stuff that happened there. I don't know if that would be the team up, but I feel like if she does get out, you kind of have to make that her mission, right?
what was her goal at the end of Batman? Like she's going to that other
She went to
city.
Bloodhaven, and that was it. She
Just
just
for
wanted to get
nothing?
out of Gotham. Yeah,
Oh,
so that's why it's like, what is her current, objective? And then maybe that's what obviously a movie could show. But I'm
Looking
curious.
for this
yeah.
kid named Victor. Help me find him. Kick his ass.
Yeah, Bruce Lee is gonna kill him. I gotta kill him first. Victor, just all these people after him. But yeah, no, do you guys? What's your percentage of her being in the movies? Not I want your actual thinking percentage. I'm at 10% because at first when it happened, I looked at Emma and I'm like, oh, she's going to the movies. But more that I've had time to sit on, I'm like, I think it is a lot to, if you want to keep the whole, you don't want to have to do homework to watch Penguin. Introducing Sophia could be a lot of heavy lifting. I don't know, so I'm gonna say 10, but my want is 100%. But I'm going with
So
10.
you're saying Selena in Batman 2 or Sophia?
No, Sophia. I think
Oh, okay.
Selena is 95%.
Yeah, okay. That's
so.
what I was gonna say too.
What was this? I mean, Penguin did kill Selena.
Selena
I
doesn't
guess.
care.
I don't think Selena cares that much about Alberto. And even like the scuttlebutt around town was Alberto was an idiot, right? Like he was a
You
piece of
killed
shit.
my favorite half brother, Alberto.
Yeah, Alberto. Yeah, so like I guess right, you could make that case where it's like, oh, but like at the same time, even though Alberto was like, I'm gonna get you out, Sophia, he was still like, he didn't disown his dad. It seemed like, right, he was still hanging out with the family, so it's not like, oh man, he was one of us. Like I think Alberto was a piece of shit too.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I guess there
Drops.
could be that thread. Yeah.
Big drops guy. I'm gonna say 51%.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over the 50% mark. I just think that she's so fucking good. Like she's such a gold mine.
I
like,
agree,
Like why
yes.
not? Like
I
why
want
not
her
have
there.
her in there? You could even have like a quick little oh yeah blah 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 or like dealing with the Penguin. I don't know. Obviously make it a little bit cleaner than that.
Yeah, but even then, to that point, like they did say, like, and I think it's funny when I rewatch the Batman, they talk about, the Maroni drug bust, like the Maroni getting busted and the whole Wayne Foundation. It's a huge storyline that's only in like communication. You don't see Maroni in that movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just talk about how it was a big deal they got Maroni out. So they could mention something. I think they just would have to. I don't know where they would, but they could find some sort of way to string. And I'm with you. I want her to be Sophia on the big screen. I think she's earned it now.
Yeah. Probably I'm probably 49% now. now that you mentioned that, I don't know.
I tried to be with you. I tried to.
I know, but like the realism of it, right? Because like, fuck, we're gonna have Paul Dano, Barry Keoghan.
Yeah, and then whoever the new villain is, right?
Yeah, like
that's
are we
the
gonna
thing.
spend time with Sophia? Probably not. Like we already have a lot of focus.
Yeah.
To do otherwise.
And I think it will really depend once they announce who that villain is, because like I feel like there's certain villains, like someone to me like a Hush, that to me works because when they say Hush in the movie, and like the guy that made the whole report about his mom going to Arkham is Thomas Elliott's dad. I feel like because it's already been a little established in the previous movie, you might have more time. But if it's like a completely new villain that's like just joining into Gotham or whatever, that's where it's like that might be a hard time. And I'm not sure, like, or does like Bruce just go to Selena, and then when he goes to Selena, he just goes to her house, and like Sophia's there, and that's like a little Easter egg for like the next show. Like they don't even show she gets out. Like they could do that. I mean too, like if she's in the movies, I don't think it's as like a massive role, even though I think she's earned it with the character portrayal. I'd love her to be. That's why I kind of wish she was just like another mobster. Like maybe I'll take it back when we get the Sophia show, but I wish the same way Oz was in the Batman. I'd love it if Sophia just had a club or had something and she was in the mystery, but she wasn't the main character. You could even have it tied in. But now it seems like she's lost all her power. So I feel like the only thing you could do with her is a revenge tale, So I kind of wish she was just another mobster that Batman had to deal. It's like, fuck, I got rid of
Yeah.
one Falcone, and they're gonna be a push and pull because that is her sister. But then is that too much like the first movie, right? Where the push and pull with Carmine is, well, that's my dad, so, and then it's like, well, that's my sister. So it could get too samey there too.
Batman's just trying to get some answers out of Sophia, showing her
Holy
phone.
God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on.
You get the exact same scene, but Sophia, come on, he's
Just
got like
remake
that
the
accent.
whole movie and just do Falcone on that. Put Hush in the Riddler role. You're good to go. So you're at 49%, Kirkland now.
Yeah, I'll be under the 50.
Taylor, what's your percentage for thinking she's gonna be in a movie?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 25%.
Oh,
Cool.
I think
cool with that.
it's low. I think you guys laid it all on the table. There's a lot of other contenders and a lot of other things in this world, and now that we know that we're getting this trilogy, it doesn't give us a lot of room. So,
Plus, we got Henry Cavill Superman to deal with too. He's gonna be
that's
in
right.
Batman
Yeah.
too.
Well, you know what? Maybe I have to think back on what we talked about with the news for the shows, because James Gunn squashed that Joker show, so it doesn't leave a lot of room for what else is going on. And I feel like this is out of James Gunn's umbrella, so I feel like it might not get. I don't know. I feel like he's biased. I feel like he's got his projects, and he's like, oh yeah, they're doing this thing that wasn't my can of worms. So I'm gonna
He's gonna
limit
put
what
some
they're
Creature
doing.
Commandos and
Yeah.
Batman too.
Yeah.
I think that conversation won't. I think it all depends on how Superman goes. I think if Superman is a massive hit, then I think that makes James Gunn's pitches a lot easier to like, oh, like, do we got to do this much for the Batman? But I think if Superman is just like does under the Batman or even underperforms, I think he can still be the president of DC Studios, but I think the higher ups will still be like, yeah, but you got to keep this thing going over here. I don't know. At least the good thing is like, even look at the Batman, like it's still pretty much 2 years away. It's not like there's another full universe, right? It's like one project out of a bunch that'll coming, right? So I think that's the case. So I still think, I don't know. My hope is with Matt Reeves talking about that they're planning on doing more shows. I hope it's a situation of they've talked and yeah, that sounds good. Not like I'm going to put this out here and hope people just fucking badger James Gunn because, like, again, him saying the Joker show is not real. I don't think he's just not like, fuck Matt Reeves. There's no Joker show. It might just be like, hey, these reports weren't true. So my hope, like, and that's why I can't wait till like James Gunn, maybe our Creature Commandos will have to. He's going to have to do press soon. And I want people to have some questions. I'm done with him answering the Instagram stuff. I want him to ask some stuff like this, like, hey, yeah, these shows, that plan, like, I don't know if anyone's ever asked him straight up or if he hasn't answered, because that's the thing with Instagram stuff, right? He always is very like picky with what he answers. I'd like someone to say, hey, is the plan still to do a full trilogy? And have him say yes. Now, of course, I guess you can just say, he said that he planned to work with Ben Affleck, and that didn't fucking happen, right? So it doesn't. I'm not calling James Gunn a liar. I'm not being the fucking red eye thumbnail. But like, you could easily, plans changed. He fucked my wife, and I didn't want to make Batman 3 anymore. But that's not gonna happen. Matt Reeves is a good guy. Let's see. Superman Mike says, do you think the way they use Eve Carlo here rules out Basil Carlo as Clayface in the future? I'm less inclined now because I thought fully, but I think we might just like, even if Hush doesn't get used with Thomas Elliott, with Sophia, I think, and it's not a bad thing. I think like Matt Reeves just likes using characters that have been associated in Batman stuff, right? If we don't get, like, I'm not saying payoffs, but it's not more. I think because nothing massive happened with Eve, I don't see Clayface. I think I'd pitch like a few episodes in the season, like imagine if Penguin gets her killed and that makes a guy like that guy become some sort of serial killer or something like that, right? Like he wants to take down the mob, similar to Riddler and Batman. But I don't see it now, even though I would love, as we check out our Cape Crusader review, that episode 2 or 3 with Clayface, I would love to have that in Matt Reeves' hand on the big screen. The whole like theatrical stuff, actor, the old Hollywood. Like I think Matt Reeves would fucking destroy with that. But I'm gonna say it's not Clayface right now. That's what I'm gonna say. How about you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if it comes out like Basil Carlo is a big thing in Batman 2 with Clayface, I don't know. I feel very uncertain on this. I feel like, okay, we have the character so that there's some seeds in there for some family, right? Like she has a family out there, but it's not like very obvious, like pointing in that direction. So as of right now, if I had to make a guess, I would say lower than my Sophia prediction, less than 49%.
That's why if there's like a Penguin season 2, I'd believe it, because it's like, well, that character's still around. You got
Yeah.
Sophia, maybe that, but I don't think so. But again, I hope we find out now that Penguin's done. I hope we start getting some Batman news here soon. I just want to fucking know the main villain. That's really what the rest of the stuff, whatever. But I want to know who's the main baddie. You know.
I'm going to go 24%. I think it's just one of those things where you just have a name and you're just playing up the universe in this giant sandbox and just trying to, I don't know, stoke the fire a little bit for the fans. And I think that's great. I love little cameo nods and Easter egg little things like that in this show. And like you, Travis, if they were doing a season 2, I would absolutely feel like, okay, that level has gone up because, I mean, she's so prominent with Oz and whatnot. And you'd probably have Batman in a season 2 of the Penguin or something like that. But I think, though, with not knowing what we're getting for future shows, but just knowing for certain we're getting 2 movies, I think... I just think it's the same thing with Sophia. There's not a lot of time to really explore that. And if ultimately we do only get 2 movies, then I feel like, okay, well, Sophia's going to appear on the big screen before Basil does. So
let's call him Clayface. I don't like calling him Basil, you know.
Basil.
And I feel like it's kind of like whatever the shows got shot down. I feel like it's obvious that okay, Joker, at least one of these movies, and I don't think we think it's gonna be 2. So I think we all assume, okay, if we get this trilogy, part 3 happens, we assume Joker and maybe Joker and a group of bad guys as the villain. That kind of makes just only one more bad guy for 2, right? Like as a main one, because I feel like Joker has that already covered. So I don't know, and I hope it's not like No Way Home, where even though there's rumors of villain, they never like fully confirmed. We got like that first teaser or anything, which I could see them doing. Like, oh, he's just cast as the antagonist. I hope we get the confirmation. But is there anything else on the show before we drop a final rating and review here?
I forgot to mention it earlier with the scene when Cobb's mom stabs him. I liked how it went back to like the child actor of like her seeing her killing like her own child, like that just it hit harder. And shouts out to that child actor again, like man, when he's like ma, like what do you do, like he's just like, man, that's just young Cobb, like he just does so good at the mannerisms and everything. But I just wanted to shout that out.
Let's see here. I don't think I had anything. I'm just trying to think, but I think we covered all. Taylor, anything?
I got nothing.
All right, Taylor, lead us off. What would you final thoughts and a rating on the show?
Final thoughts. This show absolutely blew my mind, blew my expectations out of the water. Probably because I was going in with lower expectations because I just wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this kind of side of Gotham without Batman. I felt like, okay, well, it's Gotham without Batman. What are we going to be doing here? But this did a great job at not being boring, at being completely engaging, and totally creating a love-hate relationship with Oz. Colin is incredible as this character. He sells him on every single tier. It's just a fantastic villain, and I can't wait to see him come back and square off against Batman, now being the king of Gotham himself. So it'll be very interesting to see. From start to finish, this show is great. I'm going to give it a solid 10 out of 10.
Whoa, 10 out of 10. What about you, Mr. Patzer?
Hot tamale. I'm gonna go 10 out of 10 as well. I had some issues with this finale. Not even really. I'm just gonna say some moments in this finale. I think the finale was still good, but like, man, what a show! Every single episode I felt like was just like a 10 out of 10. Even if this episode like wasn't a 10 out of 10, like 9.5, I feel like the average is still like 9.9999. So it's just so spectacular. Performances were fantastic. It was truly nice to have like accurate 1 hour episodes every week, not just like a 43-minute or something like that. Like we had a lot of time, even though, I wanted another episode. I'm just kind of a glutton because it is so good. The show is so good. And yeah, I'm so happy it happened. And if Batman 2 potentially I don't even want to say that it underperforms. Let's just go off of the assumption it's going to overperform. Just keep giving us shows out of this universe. I think it's so fantastic. Give us a show about that cop with the really interesting voice. That guy.
I'm looking at this guy's Victor's death. I think the Batman
His
killed
voice
him.
was in this episode. He was on the news. Yeah. It was nice to hear him again.
Yeah, Sophia, you're arrested. But look, you got him to look after Victor's death,
Yeah, just a whole season him looking into Victor's death.
Just because he hates Batman and Gordon. I think the Batman did it, Jim. And no, he didn't, man. Get out of here. I would
But
have.
yeah, no, the show's it was so good. It was so good, and it was really sweet to see Christine Milioti in a role like this, because I had only really seen her as being the mom in How I Met Your Mother, and then which obviously is like a very minor
Polar opposite,
role,
yeah.
very comedic type position, and then the movie that she did with Andy Samberg, Palm Springs, which
Yeah,
is
it's on
like
my
another
list now.
comedy type thing. So yeah, it was all right, but like definitely this is like
Oh, really? That's a hot
just-
take. I hear everybody say it's great rom-com.
interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts then when you
You've
eventually
also
get to it.
you've also seen her in another thing. She was Leo's wife originally in Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah,
remember?
that's right.
She's like the goody two shoe
Poor
wife
girl.
that
Yeah.
finds her doing cocaine on Margot Robbie's tits. So yeah, that's what she was in. But
Poor lady, forgot about her. But no, yeah, just to see her like really be used to her potential, I think in this show, and they did a good job with a great writing around her and everything. So
mhm.
2 thumbs for this one.
10 thumbs if you had them. But yeah, I will follow. I'll go 10 out of 10. I feel a little rocky on it because I want to rewatch the show. I think there's a few things that were, I don't know if this works the best, or maybe it's a little rush, I don't know. But it's one of these things where I've said it before, when majority of the product is very, very good, then you kind of can look past some things, right? And even overall, I still feel like things I thought were rushed or maybe not the smoothest, they still stuck the landing for the most part and made it work for all the characters. I feel all the characters, I feel satisfied with the conclusion of their stories. And that's even the biggest thing too. We talk about, not that I had this worry with HBO and everything like that, but just like even the finale for me, for the most part, stuck the landing, which again, how many comic book geek shows do we talk about where the finales are always a problem, right? And that's a big testament to the usually at least 45-minute, sometimes hour-long episodes. Cinematography was great here. Of course, it's not looking like the Batman. It's not Greg Fraser. It's not like that production budget, but I think it's better looking than some other comic stuff we get. Performances out the yin yang. Another just like a great flush out to Gotham, where now even watching the Batman, I view Victor, or no, I don't view him at all.
Victor.
I view Oz so much differently than I did the first go around. Even just like his scenes, like him and Carmine, when they're interacting, it's like, oh, there's so much good just history here. There's so much, I'm missing a word, but it's just like a wealth of goodness that has like come to the Batman universe here, and it's so much more fleshed out. That's what I was saying, and you just feel more fulfilled that you watch these. So I don't know what is next. Hopefully we get some sort of show, because I think you can just add to this more. And yeah, it's gonna be a long wait, but I hope we get some news too. But yeah, the show overall, I'm gonna choose to be more positive, because that's the thing where I have little nitpicks, but when I go on the enjoyment level, as a full 10. And I think what they did at the end was they gave Oz, everything, was else was cherries on top. Oz got a great story, and as I said, I want Batman to fucking kneecap him, and I hope when the trilogy ends that which they should, because Nolan closed off all his loops. I hope when the trilogy ends that Oswald is, I don't think dead. I want him to be locked up. He's like, he did like, yeah, sure, death could be something, but I think he's a guy I would like to see, like, he gets locked up for the next like 34 years of his life and needs to be stuck in, like, I want what Sophia got in Arkham. I want him to get that treatment, like just like all that stuff, like and his doctor's Julian Rush, like that's a full circle moment, like
Got a letter from your sister, your half sister.
Eve, no, but I want him to go down. I don't know which movie, but I hope he has a very terrible time in Arkham. So, and I think that's the great job of a villain show. So, yes, we have done it. We have reviewed the Penguin series. Like I said, 689 days to go to the Batman. But if you liked what we talked about here, when that stuff comes out, the casting, the trailers, everything, the Comic-Cons, we will be here covering it. We love the Batman. People love when we cover it. That's our second biggest episode of all time. So I'll be excited. It's gonna be a long wait, but at least should be a fun lead up. And I'm excited for lots of newscasts. And this was a good time. So thank you very much for everyone that tuned in. Next time you hear from us, it'll not be boring.
Bye-bye.
Bye.